we have completed method of working, chapter 1, in which chapter 1.1 we have seen UG coal mines. Then in 1.2 we have seen metal UG, and 1.3 we have seen open cast mines. Then this was the for first, and second chapter was rock mechanics. Rock mechanics, in which we have seen lot of formulas, and we have seen lot of questions, numericals, nearly 100, more than 100. Okay, so now our third topic is ventilation. We will cover ventilation, mines ventilation, mine gas. We will discuss about the gas, and there are various type of instrument and numeric based on the ventilation. We will solve numerical also. So mine ventilation. So I think you know कि atmospheric gas, this is our earth, and on the top we live. So on the top there are the a layer which we call atmospheric layer. Atmospheric layer, or above the atmospheric thermosphere, exosphere. There are various type of layer. This is our earth. So on the earth there are various layer around our earth. So this bottom layer is known as atmospheric layer. So what is the difference between our earth and moon, Mars? There are why lives और जिंदगियां केवल पृथ्वी पे क्यों हैं? Okay, so why we are talking about only earth? क्यों बाकी किसी भी suppose this is our sun. Okay, sun. So from distance, top to, from near to far, if you want to, if any question comes in your any GK paper, which some of the exams they will ask, then we arrange. If they we will need, we will also discuss, but it is not my part, so I will not give you the short tricks. uh, अर्थ इज अर्थ तीसरे नंबर पे आती है. Okay, so there are a layer, atmospheric layer. This atmospheric layer we found oxygen, but you will not found any atmospheric layer which is suitable for the lives. So in the earth there are various layers. This is the troposphere, or you can say atmospheric layer. Then stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. You should also need this layer information. You may ask that in the mining we don't need, but you have one subject, environment also. So in the environment they can ask about the soil, they can ask about atmospheric and outer space of your earth, है ना? So thermosphere, troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. Just remember this arrangement, that at the bottom you find troposphere and at the top exosphere. Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere or exosphere. So in the bottom we are seeing that atmospheric the mixture of the several gas, there are composition extend from the surface of the earth to the sea level up to the altitude of 25 kilometer. Don't need to know, just remember this information that in the atmosphere oxygen you need, the percentage is nearly 20.93. Okay, so this information is very important because it will required in your numerical also. So in the atmospheric, it is nearly 20.93. You will need point value also. You will need to know point value also. 20.93 is the oxygen, and nitrogen percentage is 79.04, and carbon dioxide is very little, which is 0.03. Okay, so this is a pie chart. You can understand that the of the atmospheric, if we consider 100%, then out of this we have seen that major part is of the nitrogen, which is showing in the orange, and the green part is showing with the oxygen, which is 20.93. And you can see CH4, that means methane percentage is very less, and CO2 percentage is also very low. Now type of dams, there are various type of dams. We have seen this information in the our chapter number 1 also. So we have seen the percentage. So what is the black dam? When you see black dam, you should know what is the percentage, what type of the gas we consider in the black dam, है ना? ये चीजें आपको पता होना चाहिए, क्योंकि डायरेक्ट दे कैन आस्क यू इन द एग्जामिनेशन, or they can ask you the match the column. So black dam is also known as the choke dam, is also known as choke dam. So if choke dam is also coming, you don't confuse. Choke dam is also known as the black dam. Okay, so what is the black dam? Is the mixture of the extinctive gases, carbon dioxide, and extensive nitrogen. We will see in the next slide also. That is, just you need to know this information. AK Gorai given very short, but it is very efficient for your quiz numericals or in your examination. So black dam nitrogen percentage is 87%. CO2 is 13%. Just remember कि नाइट्रोजन बहुत ज्यादा होता है. ब्लैक मीन्स नाइट्रोजन is very high, which is nearly 87%. Please remember. Then fire dam, it is a mechanical mixture of the gases, inflammable gas given the naturally coal and consists for the most part of the methane CH4. So fire dam में, if fire dam they ask, then you should need that major part is of the methane CH4 का होता है. methane CH4 80 to 96% methane अगर पाई जा रही है उसको अपन fire dam बोलेंगे. ठीक है, and the nitrogen percentage is nearly 10 to 20%. ठीक है, प्लीज रिमेंबर. सो अगर फायर डैम दे आस्क, देन यू शुड रिमेंबर CH4 is 80 to 90%, 94 96. And black dam they ask, then you should remember nitrogen, which is 18%, 80 to 70, 80 to 90%. Okay, 87%. Then after dam, this is a mixture of the gas existing in the mine after the explosion of the fire dam or coal dust or the explosion. समझे कि जब भी कोई फायर डैम होता है या कोल डस्ट एक्सप्लोजन होता है या एक्सप्लोजिव ब्लास्ट होता है, उसके बाद में जो मिक्सचर आफ्टर दिस ब्लास्ट द मिक्सचर ऑफ द गैसेस एग्जिस्ट इन द माइन is known as after dam. So after dam you should need to know the residual 30 to 50%, nitrogen 40 to 58%, and so sometime they will ask in the matching column that fire dam, black dam, after dam, and these type of percentage. So if you know the basic idea about the which gas has how much percentage in the black dam? So black dam में 87 होता है, in the after game is 40 to 56 nitrogen, and residual is 30 to 50%. Stink, stink stink dam is, it is the mixture of the sulfurated hydrogen H2S, and white dam, if they ask, then mixture of the carbon monoxide. So please remember this five type of dam, प्लीज रिमेंबर, बिकॉज इफ जैसे किसी पेपर माइनिंग और एएमई हो गया, और माइन ऑफिसर हो गया हरियाणा और राजस्थान और एमपी, so sometimes they in the written exam they will ask you write down about the dumps. Okay, so or in the objective question they will give you the percentage or etc, and they may ask you which type of dam is, or they can ask you the match the following. So black dam, please revise with me. What is the black dam? Black dam percentage, black dam, then after dam, then white dam, then sting dam. Okay, so fire dam, black dam, after dam, sting dam. Sting means S2S, black dam means N2 is majority part, which is 87. Fire dam means methane, methane. अब आपको याद रखना हो ना, किसी को कंफ्यूज हो रहा हो कि कैसे याद रखेंगे, सो फायर दैट मीन्स वुड, तो wood is made, we can made wood coal out of the wood, so from that you can guess. But you have to remember or recall this information because it is important. Okay, you will see कि गेट भी ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछता है, फायर डैम, ब्लैक डैम, आफ्टर डैम, स्टिंग. Fire dam is CH4 is 80 to 96, black dam is nitrogen 87, after dam nitrogen 42 44 to 58, and residual is 30 to 50, sting dam S2S, and white dam is extra, which is carbon monoxide. ठीक है, फायर डैम, ब्लैक डैम, आफ्टर डैम, स्टिंग डैम एंड वाइट डैम. ठीक है, दिस इंफॉर्मेशन यू शुड आल्सो रिमेंबर दैट कि कितना परसेंटेज कौन सा गैस होता है. परमिसिबल कंसंट्रेशन डिफरेंट गैसेस इन इंडियन अंडरग्राउंड माइंस, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. So they will take CO2 and they will ask कि percentage, how much percentage is allowed in underground. So you have to revise it or remember it. Methane. So methane, if we consider, if we are talking about the methane, we have to know two information. First is general body of return and any part of the mines. So general body return में methane, in the general body return methane percentage should be less than 0.75%. Okay, and in the general body or any part in the general body return, it is less than to 0.75. But if you talking about any part of the mines, then it should be less than 1.25%. Please remember this information. They will ask you question on based on this कि how much percentage is permissible of methane in the general body of the return, which is less than 0.75%, and in the any part of the mines which is should be less than 1.25. And CO2, these three information is similar, even this also. So if CO2, CO and nitrogen gases, NO2 and as well as SO2, these gases percentage if you want to know. CO2, which you know that CO2 is less harmful. अरे यार CO2 तो सब जगह होता है. You also when you take oxygen and release CO2, that means CO2 is not as much as harmful than nitrogen and carbon monoxide. कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड क्या होता है कि जब कार्बन पूरी तरह से नहीं जलता है तो कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड निकलता है. दैट मीन्स परसेंटेज विल बी हायर देन CO2, which means it permissible limit should be 0.5. But CO, SO2, NO4, they are harmful, but CO is less harmful than the nitrogen and SO2. So that their percentage, CO percentage should be 0.05%. Okay, you should also remember in ppm also. So 5000 ppm is allowed for CO2, and CO per ppm is allowed up to 50 ppm. 50 ppm. Or CO NO2, which percentage? 0.0005% or 5 ppm. You should remember at least this information. I will write down in this is a blank page. Now just revise. How you will revise? First, CH4. We will talk about two information. And one is general body of return or any part. Any part should be less than 1.25%, and in the general body of return it should be less than 0.75%. Okay, then we have seen 3 4 gases: CO2, CO, then SO2, NO2, and 2O2, these gas. So in ppm, if we are talking about in the ppm, allowed 5000 ppm, matlab it is more tolerable or it is less harmful. Then if we talk about CO, 50 ppm, and CO, SO2, NO2, it will be 5 ppm. Percentage wise, if you want talking about less than 0.5, less than 0.05%, and less than 0.0005, 0.0005%. ठीक है. Please remember this information at least. They may ask you. Now come to oxygen. Oxygen permissible in underground should be greater than 90. मतलब कि 19% से तो ज़्यादा ही होना चाहिए ऑक्सीजन, because it will be very harmful if the percentage of oxygen reduce, because we consume oxygen, है ना. So अगर ये ऑक्सीजन परसेंटेज will be lesser than 15%, then person can be die, है ना, डाई हो सकता है, मर सकता है. So O2 percentage should be 19%, and H2S, H2S percentage should be 0.001%, should be less than 0.001%, which should be 10 ppm. Okay, so this information you should remember and revise. देखो ऐसी वाली इंफॉर्मेशन होती है ना, वो आप 5 6 10 दिन रोज कोशिश करो कि वो पेपर जिसमें आप लिख रहे हैं उसको डेली देखें. So that information will stick if you revise multiple times. Otherwise you will forget, or if you don't forget, then the chances will be increase of negative question wrong होने का chances will increase if you don't revise properly, है ना. So if you are reading 40 50 60 70% of the syllabus, you have to revise multiple times, है ना. 70% पढ़ना इज लाख बढ़िया है अगर 4 टाइम रिवीजन है, और अगर 100% syllabus you are covering but you have not revised, then it will be not good strategy for you. And if you are covering 70% syllabus and revise for 4 to 5 times revision, then it will be very beneficial for you. And revision is very important in the competitive examination. So CH4 is two types, which is general body, then any part general body less than 0.75, and in the any part should be less than 1.25. Then CO2 COS2S and SO2 SNO NO2 N2O2. We have seen 5000 ppm, 50 ppm, 10 ppm, 5 ppm we have seen, है ना. Fire dam, that means CH4 percentage should be 80 to 90 percentage. Black dam we have seen nitrogen percentage will 87 percentage. After them we have seen that nitrogen is 44 to 58 percentage and residual air is 30 to 50 percentage. Then we have seen sting dam is S2S. Then we have seen white dam. White dam is carbon monoxide. We have seen this information also in the chapter 1, and in ventilation we will see again. So degree of gasiness, this table is very important. So we have seen degree 1 and degree 2 and 3. Degree 1, so first we will divide degree. Okay, so degree में क्या we will talking about percentage of inflammable gas in the general, this is general, in the general body of return, if less than 0.1 or if greater than 0.1. Okay, so percentage of inflammable gas, if less than 0.1, then we call it, and this, and rate of emission meter cube per ton, if greater than less than 1 meter cube per ton, then we call it degree 1. If percentage of inflammable gas in the general body of return is more than 0.1, then we can divide in 2 degree 2 and degree 3. So when we said degree 2 and when we will say degree 3, degree 2 we will say when the rate of emission of the gas is between 10 to 1 to 10 meter cube per ton, we call it degree 2. If rate of emission of the gas of coal output is greater than 10, we call it a degree 3. Today go and research degree 3 mines, UG mines in India. Okay, go and research on degree 3. This is your homework. I will give you one example of the degree 3. Munidi mines, Munidi BCCL of subsidy of Coal India near Dhanbad. This is degree 3 mines. सो गो, जब भी आप है ना माइनिंग देख रहे हो, थोड़ा क्यूरियस रहा करो कि आपके आसपास या कभी भी कोई माइंस देखते हो तो वहां पे विच टाइप मेथड दे आर यूजिंग, विच टाइप ऑफ अंडरग्राउंड और ओपन कास्ट में तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं, बट विच टाइप ऑफ अंडरग्राउंड मेथड दे आर यूजिंग इन द मेटल एज वेल एज कोल. इफ एनी माइंस नेम यू विल हर्ड, सो दैट विल, मतलब उसके तुमको याद नहीं करना पड़ेगा ना बहुत सारी चीजें. जैसे मुनिडी में लॉन्ग वाल यूज करते हैं हम, एंड इन बीसीसीएल गोविंदपुर area 3, there is a mines which name is NAKC, where you use board and pillar. Okay, so transportation are there are various different. So when you reading, just for your curiosity, if you see this thing, it will stick in your mind also. है ना, समझ में आया कि डिग्री वन, डिग्री टू, डिग्री थ्री. डिग्री वन, that means general body of return, if less than point 0.1 we, and the coal output or rate of emission of the gas of coal output is less than 1, then we call it degree 1. Or if the general body permissible inflammable gas in the return is more than zero point 0.1, then we will further divide in two types, that is degree 2, degree 3. When we call degree 2, degree 2 will we will call when the rate of emission is between 1 to 10, and degree 3 when we will call when the rate of emission is more than 10. These are some pictures, old pictures you can say, because अब तो ऐसा बहुत कम होता है. Flame safety lamp. Okay, now gas law. First I want to give you one information that you have read in 11 and 12 class about PV equal to nRT. This formula, this formula is again important in your environment or ventilation. So where P is pressure, V is volume, R is any constant, and T is the temperature. Okay. So when we will call Boyle's law, that means volume given mass of the gas vary inversely as absolute pressure if the temperature remain constant. So if you remember this formula, then it will be easy. So Boyle's law, boils when the water boil, when you put temperature. So that means temperature is constant if you're talking about boils. This is little trick. If you remember, you can remember in your way, or make a trick to remember recalling it. So boils law कब होता है, जब टेम्परेचर आपका कांस्टेंट होता है. दैट मीन्स if temperature is constant, then will PV equal to constant. PV equal to constant, then is P proportional to, inversely proportional to volume. Then it is known as Boyle's law. Okay. So he is saying that volume of the given mass gas vary inversely as absolutely pressure if the temperature remain constant. Okay. So if question comes, then you can do P1 V1 equal to P2 V2. Okay. So it is the Boyle's law. Now the next one is Charles law. In the Charles law, pressure is constant. That means pressure is constant. That means P is constant. That means V is proportional to T, because P is, you can eliminate P, and these are the constants you can eliminate. So V proportional to T. That means V V1 T V1 T1 बराबर V2 T2. Okay. So please remember with this is Charles. In the boils, you will consider temperature is constant. In the Charles, pressure is constant. In the boils, temperature is constant. And this is the combination of these two. So please remember these two. What is the Boyle's law? What is the Charles law? Here temperature constant, here pressure constant. If the mixture of the two asked, then P1 V1 by T1 equal to P2 V2 by T2. Okay. Just remember this information. Please comment if you have any doubt whatever I have discussed till now. जो भी अगर आपको कोई डाउट दिक्कत हो रही है किसी भी थ्योरी में, यू कैन आस्क मी, आई विल एक्सप्लेन इट. Please comment if you have any doubt whatever I have discussed till now. I will wait 30 seconds, then I will start our next. If you will not comment or if you don't have any doubt. Clear, okay. Now we will see some gas. Okay. So first uh, we will see some minds case. First, oxygen. So if you are talking about the oxygen, then the oxygen is colorless. Also, oxygen is odorless. That means soundless. Also tasteless, and it will be soluble in water, not completely soluble but slightly soluble. Okay, and you can say it is heavier than air, because specific gravity will be 1.1. I think we have not seen the various type of gas, their specific gravity. So if I will have a PPT, we will see. Okay, so just remember what I'm. So it is colorless, odorless, tasteless, soluble in the water, heavier than the air. If you want to know the critical temperature and critical pressure, critical temperature for oxygen is 1.9 degrees Celsius and pressure will be minus 50 atm. Because oxygen is very important for humans, so you should know each and everything. कभी भी कुछ भी पूछे, you should know about oxygen. So in the mines, oxygen is, you need oxygen for, because breathing. Oxygen is also slowly oxidation of the coal. Oxygen also required for burning of flame safety lamp. ठीक है. This information you should know or write down in your paper. I am also writing in short form, so you can consider it. Now we can discuss some consumption of the oxygen for the human. So if you are resting, if you are at a rest, or you can say person at a rest is required only 0.3 liter per minute. But if you are not resting, you are just walking, then you will need 0.778 liter per minute if your speed is very less, like 3 kilometer per hour. That means you are just walking. But if you are running, or if you are walking or faster, so if you can say running, then you will need 2 liter per minute if your speed is 8 kilometer per hour. Okay, what we have seen till now, oxygen is colorless, odorless, tasteless, and slightly soluble in the water, heavier than the oxygen, and critical temperature is minus 119 degree. Oxygen is required for breathing, oxidation of the coal, and burning of the safety lamp. Oxygen is required for a person which is on the rest is 0.3 liter per minute, and if he is walking, then 0.78 liter per minute, and if he is running, then 2 liter per minute. Please remember. So I have also told, I think I will give you some basic information of the flames. So if you are talking about, just give me. So if we are talking about, so our if we are talking about our oil lamp, then if the percentage of the oxygen will reduce less than 17.5, then your oil lamp will बुझ जाएगा. Okay, will not sustain after your percentage of oxygen will reduce up to 17.5. If the oxygen level reach 15 degree, less than 15, then person cannot survive, or human cannot survive. And if you know the a bird which name is canary bird, I think everybody know, which belongs to mining. Canaries cannot survive. So in the, and if you are talking about oxygen percentage, so oxygen in Indian mines, minimum 19% is permissible. And if you are talking about USSR, 20%, and if you're talking about USA, then 19.5%. It is not important, you just need to know this, and this information is also important. Okay, so we have covered oxygen. Now nitrogen. So nitrogen, if you are talking about nitrogen, then nitrogen is also colorless, odorless, tasteless. Nitrogen is also heavy, not heavy as air. That means nearly heavy or less than air. Nearly specific gravity is, so specific gravity is 0.967, and nitrogen is insoluble. That means it will not mix with your water. So nitrogen is insoluble in the water. So nitrogen is inert gas. Inert gas, that means it will not react. It will not react or burn. It will, very important for the growth of, it is important for the growth of the animal and plants. What we have seen, nitrogen is colorless, odorless, tasteless, as heavier as our air. You should remember the specific gravity also, 0.967. Nearly you should remember. And it is not soluble in the water or insoluble in the water. It is inert gas, that means not react or burn. It is important for the growth of the plant and animal. Third gas, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is also colorless, odorless, but it is bitter in taste. You can, when you will taste the carbon dioxide, it will little bit bitter. Specific gravity is nearly 1.52. I will make a chart of the all gases and arrange in the according to the specific gravity. Don't worry, है ना? Or it will be soluble in the water. We have seen oxygen is partially soluble, nitrogen is insoluble, and carbon dioxide is soluble, and it is incombustible. Incombustible. Okay, so we will discuss CO2 CO2 के बारे में कुछ और जानकारी ले लेते हैं कि हाउ इट विल बी प्रोड्यूस्ड. तो CO2 produced due to first breathing of man, breathing of man. Second, burning of air, burning of flame safety lamp. Third, decay of timber, decay of, now you can say, slow oxidation. After slow oxidation of the coal, what it will generate? CO2 and diesel locomotive. So what we have discussed, CO2 is colorless, odorless, bitter in taste, specific gravity is 1.52, soluble in water, incombustible. CO2 produced due to the breathing of man, burning of the flame safety, decay of timber, slow oxidation of coal, diesel locomotive. So we have covered three gases: oxygen, then nitrogen, then CO2. So why breathing of man, that means CO2. यार इतना कॉमन अंडरस्टैंडिंग मैं सोचा आप लोगों में होगा कि इफ आई एम सेइंग दैट ब्रीदिंग ऑफ द मैन, दैट मीन्स व्हेन ए पर्सन टेक ऑक्सीजन एंड गिव बैक कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, है ना? So I write breathing of the man. So in the breathing process, oxygen and CO2 both are important. You take O2 oxygen and give back CO2. Okay, clear? So breathing of man, that means breathing out, you can say. Breathe in the breathing process, you CO2 will release. Any doubt regarding whatever I discuss? So we can also discuss, because oxygen and CO2 is very important for your syllabus. So effect, we should also discuss effects of CO2. So if the percentage of CO2 reach 3%, then breathing will be doubled at rest. समझे क्या बोल रहा कि if you are at rest, if you are taking if you are breathing, then if the percentage of CO2 increase up to 3%, then your breathing will be double. If these percentages reach up to 6%, then headache, exhaust, you will be exhaust, आप थकान महसूस करेंगे. You will feel pain, violent pain. You can say a headache and exhaust. At 10%, nearly 10%, suffocation, suffocation and unconcise, unconciseness. Okay, when this CO2 percentage reach up to 15%, then you will lose your consciousness, loss. Okay, and if the CO2 reach percentage will be 25%, then death of the person, death of person after 1 hour, nearly 1 or 2 hours. Okay, so in the O2 case, oxygen case, we have seen 15%. In the CO2 case, 25. So I think today we have discussed some black dam. So dam black dam, we have seen CO2 plus nitrogen mixture. So CO2 range will be nearly 20. We have seen percentage also. Nitrogen is 80 to 96%. We approx. So in the black dam, if black dam percentage increase by 5%, every 5%, if black dam, black dam, if black dam increase by 5%, then your oxygen percentage will reduce 1%. अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि अगर मान लो आपका ब्लैक डैम 5% से बढ़ रहा है, तो आपका ऑक्सीजन परसेंटेज 1% से कम होगा. So when you will, how can you clear your black dam? So to clear black dam, you will spray what? Lime. You will spray lime. Or if the high percentage of the black dam, then the ventilation, you can ventilation you will improve. You have to improve for high concentration. Okay, and now next guess was fourth is carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, that is CO, and we have seen carbon monoxide, we call it as a white डैम्प. यार आपको है ना ये याद रखना पड़ेगा, जब भी ऐसे CO देखो तो इट इज white डैम्प. So carbon monoxide, when carbon monoxide generate, when the a matter containing carbon, जब उसको हम when it will burn, when इसको बोलते हैं कार्बोनेशियस matter. If the carbonaceous matter, if you burn and oxygen percentage is not up to the mark, then a gas will be generated which we call as a carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide is also colorless. That means you can't see which type of color carbon monoxide. So colorless, odorless, that means you can't hear. Tasteless, so you cannot taste it. Specific gravity of the carbon monoxide will be 0.967, and hardly soluble in water. If you want to remember this one fact also, that if you burn, if it is burned with the, it will burn with the light blue flame. So they can ask this information in the theory also. So when, now we will see when or production of CO कैसे होगा, how it will produce in your minds. Oxidation of coal, then explosives, spontaneous combustion, methane or coal dust explosion, coal dust explosion, or you can say UG machinery. So how carbon monoxide produce? Oxidation of coal, explosive, underground machines, spontaneous combustion, methane or coal dust explosion. Physiological effects. Physiological effects. So if percentage is 0.2 percentage, if the CO percentage is 0.2 0.02%, then you feel headache, discomfort, or you will fall down or collapse. You will collapse after 45 minutes if you work. ठीक है, or if you are at rest you will fall down after 2 hours. So this information you should need, that if the percentage of the CO is 0.02%, then you will feel headache, discomfort, and if you will stay in that environment and working, then after 45 minutes or less than 1 hour you will fall down. If you are sitting in that environment, after 2 hours you will fall down or you will be collapsed. If this percentage will increase up to 1.2, then your heartbeat will be increased. And now after 10 minutes at work you will collapse, or 30 minutes at rest you will collapse. A percentage will further increase up to 0.2%, then you will be unconsciousness after 10 minutes. You will feel unconsciousness. 10 minutes at work, 30%, 30 minutes after 30 minutes at rest. And if this percentage increase further 0.5% to 1%, 0.5 to 1%, then person may be death after 10 to 15 minute work. ठीक है, these are the physiological effect. That means 0.02 headache, discomfort, collapse after 45 minutes at work. 0.12%, that means heartbeat will increase, you will fall down after 10 minutes at work. If percentage is 0.2%, you will feel unconsciousness after 10 minute work. And if the percentage will be increased 0.5 to 1 percentage, then death of the person after 10 to 15 minutes. So in this you use canary bird. Canary bird used to detect carbon monoxide. And why we use, because they are sensitive and it will affect canary bird before a man. So in the rescue operation you also use this bird, but when you using the canary bird in the rescue operation you have to take fresh bird. That means अगर कोई disease हुआ, or if the bird is not fresh, then you will not find out exact amount of the percentage.
To watch the complete video, download Mining Gyan 2.0 app from the Play Store and enjoy seamless learning with Mining Gyan 2.0.